What's in the box? Well, welcome back DIYers. You already know what's in the box because you're smart and read the title of the video. But I can't wait to get this thing open and show you guys what it is and what's it gonna do. If you're curious about what's on the box, it doesn't really indicate very much of what's going on inside of here. So let's just get this thing open. Yeah, Ultrasonic Cleaner, user manual. Thanks for your purchase. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. We will handle all your problem ASAP. All your base. I think that I'm gonna have to get this down on the floor to get it out of the box. Now check this bad boy out. Very nice. Now as you can see, this is a Rovsun manufacturer expert. Now one of the reasons why I chose this particular ultrasonic cleaner over a lot of the other ones that are available is it has these mechanical knobs. None of that digital mumbo jumbo. Not that there's anything wrong with the digital stuff, but you know, I do like a mechanical knob. Ooh, listen to it tick. It's kind of nice. You can see the timer. It's marked off in 5-minute increments all the way up to 20 minutes. That's a pretty good long run time. And the heater here is using Freedom units, which is pretty nice. And it goes up to 176. That's actually quite a bit hotter than a lot of the other ones. Most of them usually only go up to like 140 or perhaps 150. Turning this thing up to 176 can definitely poach your fingies. And we have some basic instructions here. Do not plug in the power source before filling the tank. That's very important because you never want this thing to accidentally come on or be running when the tank is empty, because that'll just destroy the ultrasonic transducers. Don't use the heater without water, and obviously don't burn yourself when you're draining out the water. Oh, and speaking of drains, this thing has a nice little ball valve over here, so you can drain out all of the nasty fluids. You know, the case of this thing looks really nice. It's got like a nice little machine turned texture on it or something. That's pretty cool. And these plastic carry handles on either side. That's kind of convenient. I wonder if the feet are messed up or my table's messed up. On the back, you can see it uses a standard computer style plug, which, did it come with one? It did not come with one, but I think I have one around here somewhere, so I gotta go find that. And it has a nice tactile switch here too. Down here you can see the model. It's a 613HT. The ultrasonic frequency is 40 kilohertz. That's pretty standard. And the ultrasonic power is 360 watts. Heating power of 500 watts. Made in China. So this is actually a pretty powerful little unit. Let's go turn back around here and take the lid off. Oh, it's got a bead of silicone all the way around the edge. That's kind of nice. Keep the water and schmoo out of the electrical stuff. Oh, would you look at that? There is a power cord in there. It was inside in the basket. Excellent. And of course, here's your basketa. Now the basket is important because not only does it give you a convenient way to lift your parts out or put them in, but you don't want things sitting directly on the surface of the ultrasonic cleaner. Not only will they just vibrate down there and chew up the bottom of the tank, but in order to get clean, the parts actually need to be suspended in the liquid. Take this nice condom off the lid, and it's double condomed here. So this whole thing is made out of stainless, which is great because that means it won't react to like whatever you're throwing in here. It's not going to corrode. Stainless is really necessary for things like this. And I wonder if the basket is stainless too. It'd be nice if it is. So this thing has a 15-liter capacity, but that doesn't really tell you anything about how big it actually is. Now, as far as how much you would actually want to fill this thing up, you wouldn't want to go over the basket because that's getting really close to the top. And the basket also sits inside the thing just a little bit, maybe what, a half an inch or so. So really the size you're limited to is the basket itself. Now you could take the basket out and use something else to space your parts off the bottom, but You want to be very careful doing that because you don't want anything touching the sides or the bottom of the tank. So let's measure the basket and see what the actual working size is of this guy. So the basket's about 10 3/4 across, about 11 5/8 long, and 4.5 deep. Now I think those measurements are a little off compared to what it actually said on the website. So, you know, they're doing a little bit of fibbing. Here, let me look that up real quick actually. Yeah, they don't even list the basket size on the site. They just have the tank size listed, which doesn't really tell you the actual usable space. The usable space is the basket size. So there you go. Some information you can't find on the website. All right, so I figured the best place to try this guy out was the bathroom sink, since I can easily open up the valve here and drain it out into the sink if I need to. And I have plenty of counter space too, so you know, this thing could actually just live here if I needed to. And I also have a nice convenient plug right here as well. So I've got it all filled up, and they want you to fill it up before you even plug it into the wall, because it's bad juju if you actually turn on the ultrasonic when there's no water in here at all. It can very easily damage the ultrasonic transducers. So let me go ahead and get it plugged in. And I figured the first thing we should probably test is see how long it takes for it to actually heat up the water. So let me go ahead and crank this thing all the way up. Got it on the 176 here. And I'm gonna start a timer. I got a little meat thermometer here. That should be able to tell us how hot it's actually getting. So of course it's too low for the thermometer to read right now, so I'll come back every 5 or 10 minutes and see where we're at. All right, we're at about 25 minutes here, and it's gotten up to 106, 107, and you can see some bubbles starting to rise up. I'm guessing the heater is only just right there in that little rectangle area. And if I test it with my finger, yeah, that's getting warm. Nice and warm. But yeah, I guess it's going to take a while for this tank to heat all the way up. Let's come back to it in a few more minutes. All right, so it's been 15 minutes, and I still don't think it's all the way up to temperature. So let's check it out now. 153, 152. That's nice. And you know, one thing I did notice is that while it's heating, it has a little red lamp on right here. And if you turn the dial, you can see the lamp goes off whenever it's actually heated to that temperature. But we want this thing to keep getting hotter. So I'm going to turn it back up to max again. But it really is taking quite a while to get the tank up to temperature. So one thing we can do while we're waiting for the temperature to come all the way up is we can actually test out how strong the sonic action is. And here I have just a regular piece of aluminum foil. And aluminum foil is so thin that if this thing is putting out a good amount of ultrasonic energy, it'll actually blast holes into the sheet of aluminum itself. The little cavitation bubbles will just rip right through it. So let's come down here and let's set the timer for 5 minutes and see what happens. Ooh, look at it go. You know, one other thing I wanted to check is see how loud it actually is, and it's putting out about 81 decibels. And you know, a good portion of that is going to be outside your actual hearing, but it does have some buzzing that you can, that's very audible. Look at that. Look at all those holes that just got blasted through the aluminum foil. So that's pretty good. You know, this thing is actually ultrasonicking. So after that little test, we're at 56 minutes now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the temperature again. Still in the mid 150s. I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of getting tired of waiting this thing to come all the way up to 170. 150 is actually a pretty good temperature for cleaning parts and whatnot. So let's go find something to actually put in here. All right, so here I have a partially disassembled carburetor, and this is a Weber 32, I think, something or other like that. And as you can see, it fits nicely down into this basket. With a larger 4-barrel carburetor, you might have to do it in like 2 different batches, but still, this is pretty good that you can fit all this taken apart like this in this basket. And of course, I have all the little parts in their own separate little container. If you didn't do this, they would just fall down through the basket and, you know, bounce around on the bottom of the machine, and that's not good. But cleaning carburetors is one of the best uses of an ultrasonic cleaner, because those ultrasonic waves, they get all inside all the little nooks and crannies and crevices and channels and metering spots and all that good stuff, and do their job with making the little cavitation bubbles. And I guess I should have pointed out how grimy and grungy this carburetor is before I put it in there, but I think you can take a look at the video and before and after and kind of see. Now, one thing the Ultrasonics aren't going to be able to take care of is the corrosion and stuff. And these carburetors, they'll probably come out looking a little dull, but rest assured, they'll be clean. Now, there's all kinds of different cleaning solutions that you can put in your ultrasonic cleaner, but right now I just have water in there, and water by itself will do the job just fine. But it's a good idea to add a little bit of a surfactant, not only to help loosen grease and help the grease dissolve into the water, but it also just helps the water come into direct contact with the parts and form those little cavitation bubbles. And those cavitation bubbles, of course, are what blasts the dirt off the parts. So what kind of surfactants can you use? Well, just good old dish soap. Now let's get this thing going. I'm going to turn it all the way up to 20 minutes on the timer. So I want to talk a little bit more about the noise this thing is putting out while you enjoy this sweet time lapse. Now obviously you can't hear the Ultrasonic doing its ultrasonic sound, but I will say that it's sort of unpleasant to just be in the room with this thing when it's operating. And as you can tell from the earlier clips, it's very obviously putting out enough sound energy to overwhelm the microphones on the camera. So it might be a good idea to wear some hearing protection around this thing. I don't really know, it's up to you. But I think in the future I'll be wearing hearing protection whenever I'm using this thing. So I should probably explain how it actually cleans things. When the ultrasonic oscillators are activated, it creates high and low pressure waves that travel through the cleaning solution. And in those low pressure gaps, cavitation bubbles form, and then they immediately implode. And it's the shock wave of those imploding bubbles that actually blasts dirt and grime off the surface of dirty parts. That's why they're really great at getting in all the nooks and crannies of things like carburetors. But at the same time, it's a relatively gentle cleaning action. Some people even use them to clean electronics. If you think this is something that you can use in your workshop, I have a link down in the description below for this one. So let's take a look and see how it turned out after just 20 minutes in the Sonic. You can see all that nasty, greasy, grimy stuff is gone, which is awesome. Now this bottom plate, for some reason, turned out really nice. It seemed to have gotten the most cleaning action. And if you look down inside the float bowl here, you can see all that crusty stuff that was in there before. That's gone. So that's really nice. I'm guessing it got all the crusty stuff out of the jet pathways too. Now one thing that I think is kind of interesting is if you flip it over, it does seem like the bottom side got a little bit cleaner than the top side of things. And you know, that kind of makes sense because the bottom is where the ultrasonic transducers actually live, like in the device. So it'd probably be a good idea to do everything for a while, take it out, flip it over, and then do it again. Now this carb definitely needs a little bit more additional cleaning. I wonder if another trip around the ultrasonic tank would do the trick. But one thing that's really cool about the ultrasonic cleaners also is that if you have a soda blaster, you can soda blast your carburetors clean. And even though the soda is gonna get all in the nooks and crannies and everything, that ultrasonic cleaner is just gonna blast the little bits of soda that's stuck in there away and dissolve it into the water. And you know, soda blasting would definitely take care of all this other little schmutz and stuff. So that's ultimately probably what this carburetor needs, but you know, I bet you could put new gaskets and reassemble this thing and it would actually work just as good as new, or almost as good as new anyway, because I can guarantee you all the little pathways in the carburetor has been blasted out with the ultrasonic. So let me know down in the comments below how well you think the ultrasonic did cleaning this thing up. Oh, grody, look what all the schmoo that's left in the bottom of the tank. It's still pretty hot too. Well, bye, thanks for watching. There's a link where I got this thing down in the description below. And give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel out. And of course, if you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button for us. Thanks again.